Hello, everyone. My name is Logan Mercer, and tonight I'm going to share with you something that has haunted me for years, something I've never spoken about publicly until now. I was a night shift dispatcher for nearly 8 years, and what I'm about to tell you happened during one September night in 2025, a night that changed everything I thought I knew about this job, about fear, and about what can happen when you're the last voice someone hears before everything goes dark. Let me tell you about the call that started it all. It was 2:47 a.m. when a woman's voice came through my headset. Barely a whisper, she said, "He's in the house, and he knows I'm here. But the thing is, I live alone, and I've lived alone for 3 years. So who did I just see walk past my bedroom door?" The line went dead before I could respond, and when we sent officers to the address, they found the front door wide open, swinging in the wind. But the woman, she was gone. No signs of struggle, no blood, nothing. Just an empty house, and a cold cup of tea on the kitchen counter, still warm, as if she had just been there moments before, as if she had simply vanished into thin air. Before I begin with the full story, I can see that 80% of my viewers haven't subscribed while watching my videos, so please, take a moment, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and don't forget to turn on the bell icon, so you never miss any of my stories. Also, I would love to know, where are you watching this from? And what time is it right now for you? Please comment below. I read every single one. And if you have your own story, something that happened to you, something unexplained, email us or comment below. I might feature your story in an upcoming video. Now, let's get into what really happened that night. And I promise you, by the end of this, you'll never look at your phone the same way again. My name is Logan Mercer, and I worked as a night shift dispatcher at the Riverside Emergency Communications Center, a facility that handled calls for 3 counties, covering everything from the dense forests of the Pine Ridge area to the old industrial districts near the waterfront. I'd been doing this job since 2017, and by September 2025, I thought I'd heard everything: domestic disputes, car accidents, medical emergencies, even a few bizarre calls that made me question reality. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for that night. The night when the walls between our world and something else seemed to grow thin, dangerously thin. It started like any other Friday night. I clocked in at 11 p.m., grabbed my coffee black, no sugar, the way I always took it, and settled into my station. The dispatch center was quiet. Just me and 2 other dispatchers, Chase Donovan and a newer guy named Tyler Grayson. Chase was a veteran, been doing this for 15 years. He had this way of staying calm no matter what came through those lines. He'd seen it all. Or so we thought. Tyler, though, he was only 3 months in, still getting used to the chaos, still jumped at every urgent call, still had that wide-eyed look of someone who hadn't been broken by the job yet. I remember looking at him that night, thinking how innocent he seemed, how that wouldn't last. The first few hours were routine. A noise complaint from Westbrook Avenue, some college kids throwing a party, a minor fender bender on Highway 12, no injuries, a drunk guy locked out of his apartment, arguing with his cat through the window. Standard stuff. The kind of calls that make you forget that sometimes something truly evil can come through those lines, something that changes you forever. But then, at 1:33 a.m., my screen lit up with an incoming call. I clicked to answer, adjusted my headset, took a sip of my now-cold coffee, and what I heard made my blood run cold, made every hair on my body stand on end. Heavy breathing, panicked, desperate, ragged, like someone had been running for their life. Then a male voice, young, maybe early 20s. "Please, you have to help me. I'm at the old Mitchell factory. You know, the abandoned one off Riverside Road. I was exploring with my friends, and we found something. Please, you need to send someone now, right now before." His voice trailed off into a sob. I immediately started the protocol, typing the information into my system, flagging it urgent. "Sir, calm down. I need you to take a deep breath. What's your name? What did you find?" My name is Derek. Derek Walsh. There's someone down here in the basement, but they're not moving, and there's so much." His voice cracked, breaking with emotion, with pure terror. "There's so much blood. It's everywhere, on the walls, the floor, the ceiling. It's still wet, still warm. And and I can hear footsteps above us. But my friends already left. They ran. They left me here. And I'm trapped down here because the stairs, they collapsed behind me, or maybe someone made them collapse. I don't know. I don't know what's real anymore. I was already typing the address, flagging it as high priority, sending the information to patrol units. Derek, listen to me. I'm sending officers right now. They're on their way. I need you to stay on the line with me. Can you find somewhere to hide, somewhere safe? I'm hiding behind some old machinery, rust everywhere. It smells like death down here, like something rotting. But whoever did this, I think they're still here. I can hear them walking around upstairs, back and forth, like they're pacing, like they're looking for something. Or maybe they're looking for me. Oh, God, what if they're looking for me? His breathing was getting more rapid, more panicked. I could hear the fear taking over. I kept him talking, kept him focused, asking him questions about what he could see, what he could hear, anything to keep his mind from spiraling into complete panic. The whole time I was coordinating with officers. Units were en route. ETA 12 minutes. But 12 minutes feels like an eternity when you're listening to someone's terror in real time, when you can hear the fear in every breath they take, every word they speak. Then Derek went silent, completely silent, not even breathing loud enough for me to hear. Derek, are you there? Talk to me. I need to know you're okay. A whisper. So quiet I had to turn up my volume, my hand shaking as I reached for the dial. The footsteps stopped. I don't hear them anymore. It's too quiet. Why is it so quiet? Wait. Oh, no. Oh, God, no. They're coming down. There's another way into the basement. I can see a flashlight, moving through the darkness, sweeping back and forth. They're coming right toward me. They know where I am. How do they know where I am? Derek, stay quiet. Help is almost there. Just a few more minutes. Stay hidden. Don't move. Don't make a sound. But then I heard it, a voice in the background, distorted, like someone speaking through something. Through fabric or a mask, it said, I know you called them. I can hear your phone, the light from your screen. Why don't you come out? We can wait for them together. I promise I won't hurt you. I just want to talk. Just want to show you something. Something beautiful. And then the line went dead. Just like that, silence. Complete and total silence. I immediately radioed the responding units. My voice urgent, desperate. Suspect is on scene. Repeat. Suspect is on scene and aware of police response. Proceed with extreme caution. Caller may be in immediate danger. My hands were shaking. Chase looked over at me, concern on his face. He'd been listening and monitoring the call. He mouthed the words, you okay? And I just shook my head no. I wasn't okay. Nothing about this was okay. When the officers arrived at the old Mitchell factory, they found the basement. They found the blood. Just like Derek described, pools of it. Smeared on the walls like someone had used their hands, like someone had tried to write something. But they never found Derek. They never found a body. No signs of anyone. Just his phone, shattered on the concrete floor. Screen cracked into a spider web pattern, and bloody footprints leading to a drainage tunnel that went deep. Underground, kind of tunnel that connected to the old sewer system beneath the city. Miles and miles of darkness, stretching out like veins under our feet. And somewhere down there, somewhere in that darkness, Derek was either hiding, or he was already gone. I thought that was going to be the worst call of the night. I really did. I sat there, staring at my screen, trying to process what had just happened, trying to push down the feeling of helplessness that was rising in my chest. But I was so wrong, so terribly wrong, because the night was just getting started, and what came next? What came next would make Derek's call seem almost normal by comparison. At 2:47 a.m., another call came through. I hesitated before answering, my finger hovering over the button, something in my gut telling me not to pick up. But I did. I had to. It was my job. This time a woman. Her voice was eerily calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that comes from shock, from being so terrified that your brain just shuts down certain emotions to protect you. Hello. I need to report something strange. I'm at 4738 Elmwood Drive, and I think someone has been living in my attic. I've been hearing sound for weeks, footsteps, scratching, breathing. But tonight I decided to check. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to know. And when I opened the attic door, when I climbed up that ladder, I saw him, a man, just standing there in the darkness, staring at me. He didn't move, didn't say anything, didn't even blink, just stared. And then he smiled this slow, deliberate smile. And that's when I noticed he was wearing my husband's clothes, my husband who died 2 years ago, the suit we buried him in, and his wedding ring. I'd recognize it anywhere. So how does this man have these things? My stomach dropped, a wave of nausea washing over me. Ma'am, are you safe right now? Where are you in the house? I'm in my bedroom, door is locked, but here's the thing. I can hear him walking around up there, and he's singing the song my husband used to sing to me, our song from our wedding day. But my husband is dead. I buried him. I watched him lower his casket into the ground. So how does this man know that song? How does he know the words? He's singing it exactly the way my husband used to, with the same pauses, the same inflections. It's like he's trying to be him. Her voice finally broke, fear seeping through the cracks. How does he know that song? I dispatched units immediately, marking it as a home invasion with suspects still on premises. Ma'am, what's your name? Brooke. Brooke Ellison. Please hurry. He's coming down the stairs. I can hear the attic ladder creaking. Metal on metal. He's coming down. Oh God, he's singing louder now, like he wants me to hear him, like he's calling to me. Brooke, is there another way out of your room, a window, a door to a bathroom, anything? Yes, there's a window, but I'm on the second floor. It's a long drop. I don't know if I can. That's okay. You can do this. I need you to open that window right now. Help is 3 minutes away. Just 3 minutes. Can you climb out onto the roof? I could hear her moving. The sound of footsteps on carpet. The sound of a window sliding open, with scraping against wood. I'm out. I'm on the roof. It's cold, so cold. I'm not wearing shoes. The shingles are rough, cutting into my feet. Oh, God. I can see him through the window now. He's in my room, standing right where I was. He's looking right at me, staring, and he's still smiling, still singing. Why is he smiling like that? What does he want from me? Those were the longest 3 minutes of my life. I stayed on the line with her, telling her to move toward the front of the house, away from the window, away from him, away from whatever nightmare was unfolding inside her home. I could hear her breathing, quick and shallow, the sound of her feet on the roof, and in the background, faintly, I could hear it, the singing, that haunting melody drifting through the night air. When officers arrived, lights flashing, sirens wailing, they found Brooke on the roof, shaking barefoot, blood on her feet from the rough shingles, eyes wide with terror. And when they entered the house, when they climbed up to the attic, they found everything she described. They found a sleeping bag, food wrappers, water bottles, a small camping stove, and photographs, dozens and dozens of photographs, all of Brooke, taken from inside her house, while she slept, while she showered, while she cooked dinner, while she cried over photos of her dead husband her entire life, documented by a stranger. But the man, he was gone, vanished, escaped through a window on the first floor. They found it open, curtains blowing in the breeze, and they found footprints in the backyard, leading into the woods behind her property, and they never caught him. To this day, he's still out there, maybe watching someone else, maybe living in someone else's attic, singing someone else's songs. If you're enjoying this story, if you're feeling that chill run down your spine, please take a second to hit that like button. Leave a comment telling me what you think so far. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? I promise you the best, or should I say the worst, is yet to come. By 3:15 a.m., I was drained, emotionally exhausted. My coffee had gone cold again. I hadn't taken a single sip in over an hour. Chase brought me another cup, fresh and hot. Rough night, he said, his voice soft, understanding. I just nodded, couldn't find words. My throat was tight, my hands were still shaking. But then, at 3:34 a.m., my screen lit up again, and I felt my heart sink, felt that familiar dread settling over me like a heavy blanket. This call was different from anything I'd ever experienced, different in a way that still makes my skin crawl when I think about it. Static at first, heavy, distorted, like the call was coming from very far away, or from somewhere it shouldn't be coming from at all. Then a child's voice, small, scared, innocent. "Hello, can you help me? I'm lost." I immediately softened my tone, pushed down my own fear. Hey, sweetie. Of course I can help you. You're very brave for calling. What's your name? My name is Emily, and I can't find my mommy. We were at the park, the one with the big slide, and I went to get my ball. It rolled into the bushes, and when I came back, everyone was gone. The swings were empty, the playground was empty, and now it's dark. And I'm scared, and I want my mommy. Okay, Emily, you're doing great. You're very brave for calling. Do you know which park you're at? Can you see any signs? I think it's called Riverside Park. There's a river and ducks. We feed the ducks every Sunday. They're my favorite, especially the brown one with the white spot. I named him Charlie. I knew that park. It was about 4 miles from the dispatch center. I'd been there myself with my nephew. Emily, I'm sending someone to come get you right now. Can you tell me what you're wearing so they can find you? I have a pink jacket and white shoes. They light up when I walk, see? I could hear the little sound of her shoes, the electronic chirp they made with each step. Okay, sweetheart, I need you to stay where you are, find a bench or somewhere safe to sit, maybe near a street light where you can see, and wait for the police officer. They'll be there very soon. They're really nice, and they'll help you find your mommy. But then, her voice changed, became confused, uncertain. Wait, why is my mommy's car still here? I can see it in the parking lot. It's our car, the blue one with the sticker on the back. But why didn't she come back for me? Did she forget about me? That didn't make sense. Why would a mother leave her car and her child? Emily, can you see anyone else around? Any adults? Anyone at all? No, just the car. And wait, there's someone sitting in the driver's seat. I think it's my mommy. I can see her. But why isn't she answering me? I've been calling her. I've been yelling. Why won't she answer? I felt a chill run down my spine. Something was very wrong. Emily, I need you to stay away from the car. Don't go near it. The police officer is almost there. Just wait for them. Okay, sweetheart. But I want my mommy. I'm scared. I want her to hold me. I'm under the car. Maybe she's sleeping. She gets tired sometimes. Emily, no. Please stay where you are, please. I was frantically coordinating with units, getting someone to Riverside Park immediately. Lights and sirens, code 3. I could hear her little footsteps, the sound of her light-up shoes. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Getting closer to that car. I'm at the car now. I'm knocking on the window. Mommy. Mommy, wake up. Please wake up. Why won't she wake up? Why is she? Why is there red stuff on her, on the window, on her shirt? Mommy, wake up. Please wake up. My heart stopped. Everything in me went cold. Emily, back away from the car. Right now, walk away. Go back to the bench. But then I heard it. Another voice, adult male, rough, dangerous. Hey, kid, what are you doing here? Emily's voice filled with hope, with relief. Can you help me? My mommy won't wake up. There's red stuff on her. Can you wake her up, please? The man's voice got closer. I could hear footsteps, heavy boots on pavement. Sure, kid. I can help you. Why don't you come with me? We'll find someone who can help your mommy. Come on. Take my hand. Emily. No. Don't go with him. Stay there. Stay by the car. I was screaming into my headset. Chase and Tyler were both on their feet, rushing over, listening, their faces pale. Emily, the police are almost there. Just wait. Please wait. But then silence. The call didn't disconnect. The line was still open. I could still hear the sound of movement, footsteps, a car door opening, the creak of old hinges, the door closing, an engine starting, rough and loud, driving away, tires on gravel, getting farther and farther away. Emily, Emily, can you hear me? Emily, please answer me. Nothing, just the empty sound of an open line, wind rustling through trees, the distant sound of water, the river, and nothing else. Officers arrived at Riverside Park at 3:42 a.m. They found a car in the parking lot, a blue sedan, registered to a Melissa Hartford, and inside, they found her, slumped over the steering wheel. She'd been dead for approximately 2 hours, stabbed multiple times. The driver's side window was broken, glass everywhere, blood smeared across the dashboard, but there was no child, no little girl in a pink jacket with light-up shoes. They searched the entire park. the surrounding woods, the riverbank. Checked traffic cameras on every road leading away from the park, nothing. Emily had vanished, like she had never been there at all. And here's what made it even worse, what made my blood turn to ice. When they contacted Melissa Hartford's family, when they went through her belongings, they discovered she didn't have a daughter. She didn't have any children. Melissa lived alone, never married, no kids, no nieces, no young relatives at all. So, who was the little girl who called me? Who was Emily? Where did she come from? And where did she go? And why? Why did she call me? Why did I have to hear her? Have to hear her trust being exploited? Have to hear her being taken by that man? Whoever he was? The night wasn't over, not even close. And I was starting to realize, starting to understand that something was happening. Something beyond coincidence, beyond bad luck. The calls were connected somehow. I could feel it in my bones and my gut, but I couldn't understand how. Couldn't see the pattern. Not yet. At 4:18 a.m., another call came through, and I looked at my screen, looked at the caller ID, and my hand froze over the answer button. Because the number was coming from inside the 892 Lakewood Terrace residence. But that number? I recognized it. It had been disconnected. The previous owner had died. The house had been empty for 6 months. So, how was someone calling from there? How was the line even active? But I answered. I had to. A man older, his voice shaking, trembling with age and fear. I need help. I'm at 892 Lakewood Terrace. Someone broke into my house. I can hear them downstairs, breaking things, throwing furniture, smashing glass. I'm hiding in my closet with my wife. Please send someone, please hurry. We're too old for this. Too old to fight. Too old to run. Sir, what's your name? Richard. Richard Cole. My wife is Martha. We're both in our 70s. We can't defend ourselves. Please hurry. They're getting closer. I can hear them on the stairs, coming up. Step by step, taking their time. Like they know we're here. Like they're enjoying this. I could hear his wife crying in the background, soft sobs, the sound of pure terror from someone who had lived a long life and never expected it to end like this. Sir, do you have any way to defend yourself if they enter the room? Anything at all? I have a baseball bat, my grandson's, from when he used to visit, but I'm 73 years old. I have arthritis. I don't know if I can swing it hard enough, if I can do anything to stop them. His voice was filled with resignation, with the knowledge that this might be the end, with acceptance and fear battling for control. Units were dispatched. ETA 6 minutes. Richard, stay on the line with me. Stay quiet. Don't make any noise. They might not know which room you're in. They might pass by. For a few minutes, there was just silence, heavy breathing, his wife's muffled cry, the sound of them holding each other in that dark closet, waiting, praying, hoping that help would arrive in time. Then footsteps in the hallway outside the bedroom, slow, deliberate. Heavy boots on hardwood floor, creaking with each step. They're right outside the door. Richard whispered, his voice so quiet I could barely hear him. The doorknob turned slowly, metal grinding against metal. Then the door opened, the hinges squeaking. I heard Richard's wife scream, a sound of pure terror. Heard Richard yell, "Get away from her, get away." Heard the sound of struggle, the baseball bat hitting something. A grunt of pain, then a gunshot loud, deafening through the phone. My ears ringing from the sound. Then another and another. 3 shots, 3 lives forever changed in the span of seconds. Silence, heavy, suffocating. Richard. Richard, are you there? Martha, can you hear me? Nothing. Just the sound of someone breathing. But it wasn't Richard. It was heavier, ragged, the breathing of someone high on adrenaline, or drugs, or both. Then a voice, young, male, distorted, high on something. Who's this, you the cops, you listening? You hear what just happened, that's on you. You took too long. You let this happen. I tried to keep my voice steady. Tried not to let him hear the fear, the anger, the helplessness. This is emergency dispatch. Police are on their way. You need to leave now. This doesn't have to get worse. The person laughed. Actually laughed. A sound that sent chills through my entire body. Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna wait right here. Maybe we can all have a party when they arrive. Maybe I'll let them join the fun. You ever seen what a gun can do to an old person? It's like they're made of paper. Just tear right through. And he did. He waited, sat there in the house of death, waiting for the police to arrive. When officers arrived, 4 minutes later, forever too late, they found the intruder sitting on the bed. Richard and Martha's bed, gun still in his hand. Richard and his wife, both shot, both gone. The room painted with their final moments. The intruder's name was Marcus Venn, 26 years old, high on methamphetamine and something else, something the toxicology report couldn't identify. With a history of violent offenses, assault, robbery, but nothing like this, nothing that would have predicted this level of violence. He told officers he chose the house at random, saw it from the street, thought it looked empty, just wanted to steal something to sell, something to feed his addiction. Didn't expect anyone to be home, didn't expect them to fight back, didn't care when he found out they were. By 5 a.m., I was barely holding it together from major incidents in less than 4 hours, each one worse than the last, each one leaving a mark on my soul that I knew would never fade. Chase suggested I take a break, go outside, get some air, clear my head, but we were understaffed, and the calls kept coming. The phone kept ringing, and someone had to answer. Someone had to be there, even if being there meant carrying these voices with you forever. At 5:23 a.m., the phone rang again, and I looked at it like it was a snake, coiled and ready to strike. I almost didn't want to answer, didn't want to hear what fresh horror was waiting on the other end, but I did. I answered, because that's what you do. That's the job. Help, please. Something's wrong with my girlfriend. She's not breathing right, she's on the floor. I don't know what to do. Male voice, young, panicked, desperate, but there was something else in his voice, something I couldn't quite place. Sir, what's happening? Is she conscious? Can she respond to you? Barely. Her eyes are open, but she's not looking at anything. Not really seeing. We were just hanging out, watching movies, drinking wine, and she said she felt dizzy, said her head hurt. Then she just collapsed, fell off the couch, hit the coffee table, and now she's breathing, but it's shallow, really shallow. Her lips are turning blue, turning purple. Oh God, what's happening to her? Okay, I'm sending an ambulance right now. They'll be there in minutes. What's the address? He gave me an address on Northview Street, apartment 12B. What's your name, sir? I'm Blake. Blake Sutton, and my girlfriend is Jenna. Jenna Caldwell. Please, you have to hurry. I don't want to lose her. I love her. I can't lose her. Not like this, not now. Blake, I need you to check if she's breathing. Put your ear near her mouth and nose. Tell me what you feel. She is, but barely. It's like she's gasping, like she can't get enough air. Her chest is moving, but not much, not enough. Okay, I need you to tilt her head back slightly, gently. Make sure her airway is clear. Make sure nothing is blocking her breathing. Ambulance is 4 minutes away. Just stay with me. Stay calm. You're doing great. I could hear him moving, adjusting her. His breathing heavy, panicked. Blake, has she taken anything, any drugs, any alcohol beyond the wine, any medication, anything at all? No. I mean, we had some wine earlier, but not much. Just a glass or two. We were just watching movies. She was fine. She was laughing. She was completely fine. And then this. How does this happen? How does someone just... His voice was breaking. Don't leave me, Jenna. Please don't leave me. I need you. Please don't go, please. Those 4 minutes felt eternal. I stayed on the line, kept him calm, kept him talking to her, telling her to hold on, telling her help was coming. When paramedics arrived, I could hear them in the background, their professional voices, calm and commanding, calling out medical terms I barely understood, starting in 4, checking vitals, preparing her for transport. They transported her to Memorial Hospital, lights and sirens, racing against time, racing against whatever was shutting down her body. And later, hours later, when the shift was over, when I was finally home, trying to sleep, trying to forget, I got a call from Chase, and what he told me made everything so much worse. Jenna had been poisoned. Someone had put something in her drink earlier that evening, something that took hours to take effect, something calculated, something deliberate. They managed to save her, but just barely. She was in the ICU for 3 days, and when she finally woke up, when she could finally talk, she told them everything. And the investigation revealed something chilling, something that made my stomach turn. Blake had been slowly poisoning her for weeks, small amounts, untraceable, trying to make it look like she was just getting sick naturally, like she had some mysterious illness that doctors couldn't diagnose. That night, he'd given her a larger dose, thinking she would die, thinking he'd be the distraught boyfriend who tried to save her, the grieving boyfriend who would inherit her money, her apartment, her life insurance. But he panicked, didn't expect her to collapse so quickly, didn't expect her symptoms to be so severe, didn't expect to actually have to call for help. His whole act, the panic in his voice, the desperation, the tears, all of it was fake, calculated, practiced. He'd rehearsed it, practiced his performance, knowing that one day he'd have to make that call, have to play the role of the concerned boyfriend. Blake Sutton was arrested 3 days later. Attempted murder, and Jenna Caldwell still has nightmares, still can't trust anyone, still wakes up in the middle of the night, gasping for air, reliving that moment when her body started to shut down, when the person she loved most was the one killing her. The calls kept coming, like something had opened, like some door between worlds had been left ajar, and all the darkness was pouring through. At 6:07 a.m., a woman reported seeing someone standing in her backyard, just standing there motionless, staring at her house, staring at her bedroom window. She said he'd been there for at least 20 minutes, just standing, not moving, not doing anything, just watching. When officers arrived, the person was gone, vanished, but they found footprints, dozens of them, circling the house, over and over and over, like someone had been walking around it for hours, making lap after lap, studying it, memorizing every window, every door, every way in. At 6:34 a.m., a man called saying he was being followed, had been for the last 20 minutes, maybe longer. Every turn he made, the car behind him made the same turn. Every lane change, every sudden stop, the car mirrored his movements, staying exactly 3 car lengths back, never closer, never farther, just there, always there. I guided him to the nearest police station, told him to drive there. Don't stop for anything. Don't go home. Don't lead them to where you live. Just get to safety. When he pulled into the station parking lot, the car following him drove past, slowly, deliberately. The driver turned to look at him, staring, smiling. Officers got a partial plate, ran it through the system, but the registration came back to a car that had been junked 2 years ago, crushed and recycled. So how was it on the road? How was it following someone? What was happening to reality tonight? At 7:15 a.m., a call came from a woman who said she woke up to find all her doors and windows open. Every single one, front door, back door, bedroom windows, bathroom window, kitchen, living room, all of them, wide open, letting in the cold morning air. But she lived alone, and she knew she'd locked everything before bed. She was certain. She always triple-checked, always made sure. Officers did a sweep of her house, found nothing, no signs of forced entry, no signs of anyone having been there. But in her bedroom, on her mirror, written in what looked like lipstick, were the words, "I've been watching you sleep. You look so peaceful, so beautiful. I'll be back soon." The lipstick, it was hers, from her makeup bag, which meant someone had been in her house, had touched her things, had stood over her while she slept, vulnerable and unaware. By 8 a.m., my shift was supposed to be over, but I stayed, couldn't leave, couldn't shake the feeling that something else was coming, something worse than everything that had come before, the grand finale of this nightmare symphony. And at 8:42 a.m., one more call came through. This one still haunts me more than all the others, more than Derek in the factory, more than Emily at the park, more than all of them combined. A woman's voice, calm, too calm, disturbingly calm. "I'd like to report a body." "Ma'am, where's the body located? Are you safe?" "In my basement. I found it this morning, when I went down to do laundry, just lying there, on the floor, next to the washing machine." "Okay, ma'am, can you describe what you see, and please tell me your name?" "My name is Jennifer Cross, and the body, it's a woman. She looks young, maybe 30s, dark hair, wearing jeans and a red sweater. There's no blood that I can see, no obvious injuries. She just looks like she's sleeping, except her eyes are open, staring at nothing, and her skin is so pale, almost gray." I was already dispatching units, marking it as a possible homicide. "Jennifer, I need you to go upstairs right now, Lock yourself in a room. Don't touch anything else. Officers are on their way." But that's the thing. Her voice remained eerily calm, unnaturally steady. "I think I know who she is. I've seen her before in my dreams. The same woman, the same red sweater, the same blank stare. I've been dreaming about her for 3 weeks now, every single night. She's always in my basement, always in the same position, and in my dreams. She tells me things. She tells me that someone is coming for me next, that I'm going to end up just like her. And I keep waking up thinking it's just a nightmare, just my imagination. But now she's here. She's really here. So, if I've been dreaming about her, if I've been seeing her death before it happened, does that mean the rest of it is true too? Does that mean someone is coming for me?" The hair on the back of my neck stood up, every instinct in my body screaming that something was deeply wrong. "Jennifer, please, go upstairs now. Get somewhere safe. Talk to me. Stay on the line." I'm walking upstairs now. My legs feel heavy, like I'm moving through water. This doesn't feel real. None of this feels real anymore. Wait, there's something on my kitchen counter. An envelope. It wasn't there last night. I'm sure of it. Should I open it? No, don't touch it. Wait for the officers. They need to see everything exactly as it is. But I could hear paper rustling. She was opening it anyway. There's a note inside, handwritten. It says, "Dear Jennifer, by now you've found her. You've seen what I can do, what I will do. You've been chosen, just like she was, just like the others before her. I've been preparing you, visiting your dreams, making sure you understand, making sure you're ready. Tonight, when the sun goes down, I'll come for you, and you'll join her, join all of them, in the place where dreamers go to die." Signed, The Sandman. Her voice finally cracked, the calm facade shattering like glass. Oh God, what does this mean? What does any of this mean? Who is the Sandman? Why is this happening? Officers arrived within minutes. They found Jennifer upstairs, shaking, the note clutched in her trembling hands, and when they went down to the basement, they found exactly what she described. A woman, early 30s, dark hair, red sweater, lying next to the washing machine. But here's what made it even worse. What made every officer on scene go silent? The woman had been dead for at least 5 days. Her body was in the early stages of decomposition, which meant she'd been in Jennifer's basement for almost a week, lying there while Jennifer did her laundry, while she walked past, while she lived her life just feet above a corpse. And the woman, they identified her as Paula Strickland, reported missing 6 days earlier. Last seen leaving a coffee shop downtown. Security footage showed her getting into a van, a white van with no plates, with tinted windows, and the driver wore a mask, a simple white mask, featureless, blank, like the face of death itself. The note, the one addressed to Jennifer, they analyzed it, ran it for prints, for DNA, for anything that could lead them to whoever wrote it. But it was clean, completely clean, like it had been handled by someone wearing gloves, someone who knew what they were doing, someone who had done this before. And Jennifer, they put her in protective custody, 24-hour surveillance, guards outside her door, alarms on every window, every possible precaution. But she couldn't sleep, couldn't close her eyes without seeing that woman in the red sweater, without hearing that voice from her dreams, telling her she was next, telling her it was only a matter of time. Days passed, then weeks, and nothing happened. No attempts on Jennifer's life, no signs of the Sandman, no more bodies. It was like whoever it was had just vanished, disappeared into the shadows they came from. But Jennifer, she was never the same. She moved away, changed her name, cut ties with everyone she knew, because she said she could still feel him, still feel someone watching her, still had the dreams, the same dreams, the woman in the red sweater, still telling her, still warning her, that one day, when she least expected it, when she finally thought she was safe, that's when he would come. That's when Sandman would finish what he started. At 9:15 a.m., my replacement finally arrived. A woman named Rachel Finch. She looked fresh, energetic, ready for her shift, completely unaware of the night I'd just survived. I started to brief her, started to explain what had happened, but I couldn't find the words, couldn't articulate the horror, the helplessness, the weight of all those voices still echoing in my head. So I just told her to be careful, told her to trust her instincts, told her that sometimes, on nights like the one I just had, you realize that the line between our world and something else, something darker, is much thinner than we ever wanted to believe. I drove home as the sun rose higher, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Such a beautiful morning, so peaceful, so normal. And it felt wrong, felt like a betrayal somehow, that the world could look so bright when I'd spent the night drowning in darkness, listening to fear, to pain, to death. I got home, locked every door, checked every window, drew all the curtains, and tried to sleep, but every time I closed my eyes, I heard them. Derek's panicked breathing, Brooke's voice from the roof, Emily's light-up shoes, Richard's final moments, Jenna gasping for air, and that woman, Jennifer, telling me about her dreams, about the Sandman, about the woman in the red sweater who came to her basement and stayed. Over the following weeks, I started to notice something, started to see a pattern that I'd missed that night. The calls, all of them, they were connected, not in an obvious way, not in a way that made sense at first, but when I started digging, when I couldn't sleep and spent my nights researching instead, I found it. Derek, the young man from the factory. He had posted on social media the day before he went missing, posted about weird dreams he'd been having, dreams about being chased through dark tunnels, about someone following him, about feeling like he was being hunted. Brooke Ellison, the woman whose attic was inhabited, she had made a police report 2 months earlier, said she felt like someone was watching her, following her home from work, standing across the street from her house late at night. But when officers investigated, they found nothing. Told her it was probably just her imagination, probably just grief playing tricks on her after losing her husband. Melissa Hartford, the woman found dead in her car at Riverside Park, the woman who supposedly had no children, no connection to little Emily. She had a journal. Investigators found it when they searched her apartment. And in it, she wrote about dreams, vivid dreams where she had a daughter, a little girl named Emily, wearing a pink jacket and light-up shoes. She wrote that these dreams felt more real than her actual life, that she could feel the weight of the child in her arms, could hear her laughter, could smell her shampoo, and she wondered if maybe, in some other life, in some other version of reality, that child was real, that somewhere Emily existed. Richard and Martha Cole, the couple who were murdered in the home that should have been empty. I found old property records, that house, 892 Lakewood Terrace. They had lived there 40 years ago, raised their children there, had their entire lives there, but they'd moved out decades ago, moved to a retirement community on the other side of town. The house had been sold 3 times since then. The most recent owners had died. The house was empty, scheduled for demolition. So why did Richard call from that address? Why did he think he was still living there? Why did he die in a house he hadn't set foot in for 40 years? And Blake Sutton, the man who poisoned his girlfriend, investigators found his computer, found his search history, and weeks before Jenna's collapse, he'd been visiting forums, dark websites, places where people discussed lucid dreaming, shared techniques for entering other people's dreams, for planting suggestions, for manipulating thoughts from the inside. He'd been researching something called dream walking, the idea that consciousness could leave your body while you sleep, could travel, could enter the minds of others. Every victim, every person from that night, they all had one thing in common. They'd all been dreaming, all experiencing vivid nightmares, all feeling like something was wrong with their sleep, like something was visiting them in the dark hours, whispering to them, showing them things, preparing them. I started having my own dreams after that, dreams where I was back in the dispatch center, and the phone would ring, and I'd answer, but the voice on the other end, it was always the same, always distorted, always wrong, and it would say, "Thank you for listening, Logan. Thank you for bearing witness. Thank you for being there when I needed anyone. You did so well, and now it's your turn. Now you get to see what it's like, to be on the other side of that call, to be the one who needs help, to be the one who's screaming into the void, hoping anyone is listening." I'd wake up gasping, drenched in sweat, reaching for my phone, calling the dispatch center, just to hear another human voice, just to confirm I was still in the waking world, still in reality, still alive. 3 months after that night, after September 2025, I quit my job, couldn't do it anymore, couldn't pick up that headset, couldn't hear another voice crying out for help, couldn't carry any more souls with me. The dispatch center tried to get me to stay, offered counseling, offered reduced hours, offered anything that might help, but I was done. I was broken in ways that couldn't be fixed by therapy or time off. I'd seen something that night, felt something, like I'd brushed up against the edge of some vast darkness, some intelligence that fed on fear, on suffering, on the moments when people realize they're not safe, when they understand that the world is so much more dangerous, so much more cruel than they ever imagined. Chase retired 6 months later. Said he couldn't do it anymore either. Said that night had changed something fundamental in him, had made him realize that after 15 years, he'd absorbed too much pain, carried too many voices. Tyler, the new guy. He lasted 3 more months before he quit. Said he'd have panic attacks every time the phone rang. Said he started seeing patterns of the calls, started feeling like something was orchestrating events, moving pieces on a board, playing games with human lives. The dispatch center had to hire 6 new people to replace the 3 of U.S., and I heard through the grapevine that turnover got worse, that people would start and quit within weeks. Said they felt something wrong with that place. Said they'd hear voices on the line even when no one was calling. Said they'd see shadows moving in their peripheral vision. Said the building itself felt contaminated, haunted by all the suffering that had passed through those phones, all the fear that had been transmitted through those wires. I moved away from Riverside, couldn't stay in that town, couldn't drive past the dispatch center, couldn't see the streets where all those calls originated. Every location was a ghost, every address a reminder. I moved 3 states over, took a job doing something completely different, data entry, mindless, boring, safe. But the dreams followed me. They always do. In my dreams, I'm back at that console, back in that chair, and the phone rings, and I know I shouldn't answer, know that nothing good is waiting on the other end, but my hand moves anyway, reaches for that button, and I hear breathing, heavy, distorted, and then a voice. Sometimes it's Derek, sometimes Emily, sometimes Richard, sometimes all of them at once, overlapping, speaking in unison, and they all say the same thing. Why didn't you save us, Logan? You were supposed to save us. You were our last hope, our final lifeline. And you failed. You let us die. You let us disappear. You let us become stories, nightmares that someone tells on the internet, entertainment for people who don't understand, who can't feel what we felt, who don't know what it's like to call for help and realize that help isn't coming. Realize that you're alone, completely alone, in the dark. And I wake up, and I grab my phone, and I dial 911, just to hear someone answer, just to hear that familiar greeting. 911, what's your emergency? And I hang up, because I don't have an emergency. Not one they can help with anyway. Not one that ambulances or police cars or firefighters can fix. My emergency is that I can't forget, can't stop hearing those voices, can't stop wondering what happened to them after the calls ended. Derek, did he die in those tunnels? Is he still down there, lost in the darkness beneath the city? Or did he escape? Did he get away? And if he did, what did he become? What did the experience turn him into? Emily, who was she? Was she real? Was she a ghost? Was she something else entirely? Something that used the form of a child to lure, to trick, to trap. And the Sandman, whoever left that note for Jennifer, whoever placed Paula Strickland's body in that basement, are they still out there? Still choosing victims, still visiting dreams, still preparing people for whatever comes next. I started this channel 6 months ago. Started sharing stories, not just mine, but others I've researched, stories from other dispatchers, other emergency workers, other people who've stood at the boundary between normal life and absolute horror. Because I realized something. Realized that silence doesn't protect us, doesn't make the fear go away, doesn't erase what happened. The only way through it, the only way to carry these voices without being crushed by their weight, is to share them, to let others know, to warn them. This world we live in, it's not as safe as we pretend it is, not as rational, not as predictable. There are things that happen, things that can't be explained by logic or science, things that live in the spaces between sleep and waking, between life and death, between the call for help and the moment when help arrives, too late. Every time you dial 911, every time you call for help, remember that there's a person on the other end, a human being who has to listen, who has to absorb your fear, your panic, your pain, who has to make decisions in seconds that might haunt them for years, who has to live with the voices of people they couldn't save, We're not robots. We're not machines. We're people. And we break, just like everyone else. Maybe more than everyone else, because we hear things that most people will never experience, things that would shatter anyone who had to bear witness night after night after night. I don't know what happened that September night in 2025. Don't know why all those calls came in during one shift. Don't know if it was coincidence or something more, something orchestrated, something that wanted me specifically to hear, to witness, to remember. But I know this. I know that somewhere out there, Derek might still be running. Emily might still be calling. The Sandman might still be visiting dreams, preparing his next victim, choosing who lives and who becomes another story, another mystery, another unsolved case that keeps someone like me awake at night. And I know that every time my phone rings, every time I hear that sound, that familiar ringtone, my heart stops, my breath catches, and for a split second I'm back there, back in that chair, back in that moment when I realized that the calls weren't stopping, that the darkness wasn't lifting, that something had opened that night, something that maybe, just maybe never fully closed. So when you go to sleep tonight, when you turn off the lights and close your eyes, remember this. Remember that dreams are doorways, and sometimes something comes through from the other side, something that watches, that waits, that whispers. And if you wake up in the middle of the night, if you hear sounds you can't explain, if you feel like someone is watching you from the shadows, if you have the urge to call 911, to reach out for help, remember that the person who answers, they're going to hear your fear. They're going to carry your voice with them. They're going to remember you, long after you've forgotten the call, long after you've moved on with your life. Because that's what we do. We remember, we carry, we bear witness to the moments when people realize that safety is an illusion, that protection is temporary, that sometimes, when you need help the most, when you're screaming into the phone, when you're begging for someone to save you, sometimes help arrives too late. Sometimes the darkness moves faster. Sometimes the call ends, and all that's left is silence and questions, and the haunting knowledge that somewhere, out there, someone is listening to a story about you, wondering what really happened, wondering if you're still alive, or if you became just another voice, another ghost, another warning that no one will heed. They never found Derek Walsh. The case remains open, listed as a missing person, but I know the truth. I heard him, heard the moment when he stopped being a person and became something else, a mystery, a story, a nightmare. They never found the man who lived in Brooke Ellison's attic, never identified him. He's still out there, maybe in someone else's attic right now, maybe watching, maybe waiting, maybe wearing someone else's dead husband's clothes, singing someone else's wedding song. They never found out who little Emily really was, never solved the mystery of why she called, why she knew about Melissa Hartford, why she led us to that car, that body, that scene of horror. The case files are thick with theories, with speculation, with desperate attempts to make sense of the senseless, but the truth is, nobody knows, and maybe nobody ever will. And Jennifer Cross, she's still alive, still in hiding, still looking over her shoulder, still having the dreams, still seeing the woman in the red sweater, still hearing the warning. He's coming. The Sandman is coming, and when he does, you'll join us. You'll become one of the dreamers, one of the lost, one of the voices that calls out in the night, hoping someone will answer, hoping someone will save you, but knowing deep in your soul that no one can. I end every video the same way, with a warning, with a reminder, because if my experience taught me anything, it taught me that the world is full of darkness, full of predators, full of things that hunt in the spaces we don't look, in the moments we're not paying attention. So lock your doors, check your windows, trust your instincts when something feels wrong. And if you ever have to call 911, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you need help, where you're scared, where you're in danger, remember that we're trying. The people who answer those calls, we're really trying, but we can't always save you. We can't always make it in time. We can't always stop the bad things from happening. All we can do is listen and remember and carry your voice with us into the darkness, into our dreams, into the quiet moments when we wonder, when we ask ourselves if we did enough, if we could have done more, if we failed you, or if you were always meant to become a story, a mystery, a warning. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to my story, for bearing witness to the night that broke me, The night that changed everything. I know it was long. I know it was heavy. I know it was dark. But these stories need to be told. These voices need to be heard. Because silence is what lets the darkness grow. Silence is what allows predators to thrive. Silence is what turns victims into forgotten names, into cold case files, into mysteries that haunt the people left behind. If you want to see more content like this, if you want to hear more stories from emergency workers, from people who've seen things that can't be explained, things that don't make sense, things that keep them awake at night, then please subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell. Leave a like on this video if you appreciate the time and effort it took to share this, to relive this, to open these wounds again. And I want to know, what do you think happened that night? Do you think it was coincidence? Do you think there was something more, something supernatural, something orchestrated? Comment below with your theories, your thoughts, your own experiences. Have you ever called 911? Have you ever been on the other side of that line? Have you ever had dreams that felt too real? Dreams that warned you? Dreams that prepared you for something terrible? Tell me what topics you want me to cover next. What stories do you want to hear? Do you want more dispatcher experiences, more paranormal encounters, more true crime, more mysteries that have no answers? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. I respond to as many as I can. And if you have your own story, if something happened to you that you can't explain, that still haunts you, that you need to share, send it to the email in the description. I might feature it in an upcoming video. I might give your voice a platform, might help you carry the weight of what you experienced. Before you go, before you click away, before you move on to the next video, the next distraction, the next piece of content, I want you to do something for me. I want you to check your locks, check your windows, look around your room, make sure you're safe, make sure you're alone. Because after hearing this, after letting these stories into your mind, into your thoughts, you might start noticing things you didn't see before, shadows that move wrong, sounds that don't have sources, feelings that something is watching, waiting. And if that happens, if you start to feel like you're not alone anymore, like something followed you home from this video, like the darkness has noticed you, then remember that fear is your friend. Fear is your instinct telling you to pay attention, to be careful, to survive. Thank you again for watching, for listening, for being here. Stay safe out there. Keep your phone charged. Know where your exits are. And remember, when you call for help, someone is listening. Someone cares. Someone is trying their best to save you. But sometimes the darkness moves too fast. Sometimes the call ends too soon. Sometimes all we can do is remember and tell your story and hope that someone somewhere learns from it and doesn't make the same mistakes, doesn't ignore the warnings, doesn't become the next voice, the next call, the next story that keeps people like me awake at night, wondering, always wondering what really happened and if we could have done more. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and whatever you do, don't ignore your dreams, because sometimes they're trying to tell you something important, something that might save your life or end it. And one more thing, before I let you go, before you close this video and move on with your life, I need to tell you something I've kept hidden, something I didn't want to admit, not even to myself. 2 weeks ago, I got a call, not on my work phone, not on any emergency line, but on my personal cell, the number I've changed 3 times since I quit, the number that only 5 people in the world have. I was making dinner, just standing in my kitchen, cutting vegetables, trying to live a normal life, trying to pretend that night in September never happened, when my phone rang, and I looked at the screen, and my blood turned to ice, because the caller ID had said, Derek Walsh. My hand started shaking. The knife fell from my grip, clattered on the counter. I just stared at that name, that impossible name, because Derek Walsh had been missing for months, presumed dead, lost in those tunnels beneath the city. So, how was he calling me? And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking it was a prank. Someone who heard my story. Someone trying to scare me. But here's the thing. I've never told anyone Derek's full name publicly. Never mentioned his last name in any video. Never wrote it down anywhere online. So how would anyone know? I let it ring for 5 times, 6 times, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst through my chest. And then, against every instinct screaming at me not to. I answered. I brought that phone to my ear, and I whispered, "Hello." Silence at first, just that familiar heavy breathing, that same panic breathing I heard that night, and then a voice. Derek's voice, but wrong somehow, hollow, empty, like it was coming from somewhere far away, somewhere deep underground. "Logan, you remember me, don't you? You were the last person I talked to, the last voice I heard before I understood." "Understood what?" "Derek, where are you? Are you okay? Tell me where you are." My voice was shaking, desperate. Even after all these months, even after everything, I still wanted to save him. "I'm still here, Logan, still in the tunnels, but I'm not alone anymore. None of us are alone down here. Emily's here. She's standing right next to me, wearing her pink jacket. Her shoes don't light up anymore, though. The battery's died. And there are others, so many others, people who called you, people who called other dispatchers, all of us, waiting for our turn to call again." I felt tears streaming down my face, my whole body trembling. "Derek, this isn't real. This can't be real. You're not dead." He laughed, but it wasn't a human laugh. It was something else, something that made my skin crawl. "No, Logan, we're not dead. We're just somewhere else, somewhere between the call and the answer, between the cry for help and the moment help arrives. We exist in that space now, forever reaching out, forever hoping someone will save us. But no one ever does. No one ever can. Why are you calling me? What do you want?" "We want you to know, Logan. We want you to understand that you didn't fail us. You couldn't have saved us, because we were never meant to be saved. We were chosen, just like you're about to be chosen. Just like everyone who listens to your stories is being chosen. Every person who watches your videos, every person who lets our voices into their mind. They're opening a door, and something is waiting on the other side, something that feeds on fear, on the moment when people realize they're not safe, that they've never been safe." The line started to fill with static, with interference, and through that static I could hear other voices, whispers, dozens of them, hundreds, all talking at once, all say my name. "Logan, Logan, Logan." And then Derek spoke one last time, his voice fading, disappearing into that chorus of whispers. "Check your basement, Logan. Check it right now, because someone's been living down there, someone who's been waiting, someone who knows all your stories, all your fears, all your secrets. And tonight when you try to sleep, when you close your eyes and drift off, you're going to dream. And in that dream, you're going to be back at the dispatch center, and the phone is going to ring. And when you answer, it's going to be your own voice on the other end, calling for help, begging someone to save you. But there won't be anyone there. There never is." The call ended, and I stood there in my kitchen, phone still pressed to my ear, listening to dead air, to silence, to nothing. And then I heard it, a sound from downstairs, from my basement, a sound I'd been hearing for weeks, but ignoring, telling myself it was pipes, or the house settling, or my imagination. But now I knew, now I understood. Someone was down there. Someone had been down there all along, waiting for this moment, waiting for me to finally understand that the calls never really ended, that the darkness from that September night followed me, claimed me, marked me as one of its own. I'm still standing in my kitchen. I haven't moved, haven't gone to check the basement, because I'm too afraid of what I'll find, too afraid of who I'll see. Maybe it's the Sandman. Maybe it's Derek. Maybe it's all of them. All the voices I couldn't save, waiting for me to join them, waiting to take me to that place between the call and the answer, that place where lost souls wait forever, hoping, praying, that someone will pick up, that someone will listen, that someone will care. So I'm making this video now, recording this message, because if you're watching this, if you're hearing my voice right now, then maybe it's already too late for me. Maybe I'm already gone, already taken, already lost in those tunnels, in those dreams, in that endless darkness. But I need you to know, I need you to understand, that when your phone rings in the middle of the night, when you hear breathing on the other end, when a voice asks for help, you have to be careful, because sometimes the calls aren't coming from our world. Sometimes they're coming from somewhere else, somewhere we were never meant to know about, somewhere that's been waiting, always waiting for someone to answer. And if you ever hear my voice calling, if you ever get a call from Logan Mercer, asking for help, begging you to save me, don't answer, just hang up, Because it won't really be me. It will be something else, something wearing my voice like a mask, trying to pull you in, trying to make you the next voice, the next call, the next story that someone tells in the dark, hoping that maybe, just maybe, someone will listen, someone will understand, someone will save them, but knowing deep down in a place beyond words, that salvation never comes, that help is always too late, that we're all just voices in the darkness, calling out, forever calling out, with no one left to answer.